What's happening? What's going on? Welcome back to the Big Pick Podcast. I'm joined by Mr. Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Yo.
And of course, Mr. Chicken. Say hello, Chicken.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Alright, now Week 3 is finally in the books. We can talk more besides the Browns game, but the Browns was a sign of things to come because Week 3 was nuts. There are only three undefeated teams now, but let's talk about the one that hasn't won a fucking game, my team. So, Houston, having a nice, promising drive that ended in a field goal was pretty much what summarized this game. So close, yet so far. The Giants' defense had their way with Watson. The line is still not settling down. Apart from J.J. Watt, everything else from this team was bad. Watson was not thinking properly. He never had his feet settled in. He was never settled, and besides, his line was not doing him any favors. Bill O'Brien still drawing up dumb plays. Like, there in the 2-point conversion, which would have changed the situation of the game had they got it, he did a shovel pass to Lamar Miller right, like not even inches, mere centimeters away from that dog pile that was ready for him. Why? You have a mobile quarterback who just needs to run to the side to get into the end zone for two. Why did you think you needed to do that?
Does he not remember he has, like, a top 3 wide receiver?
Exactly.
You have a top 3 wide receiver. I would argue top 2. You have a deep threat, which, I mean, I know you're in the end zone, so not much of a deep threat anymore, but whatever. You got guys who can catch the ball. You have bigger tight ends. They're young, mind you, but they show promise. Jordan Thomas there was a really good play where he just I think he just beat one of the the cornerbacks or the safeties or whatever. It was for 39 yards, I think. It was a really nice bomb for a tight end, especially.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying he's Gronk. He's got the physique of Gronk. You know, big man can
But
run.
he's not.
Yeah, I'm not saying talent-wise. I'm just saying he's got the build of a Gronk, of a Travis Kelce. So, like, you got these big guys. Make them beat those guys and get open, because they can get open. It's the line's not helping. Watson's not helping. The running game was dead. Unlike last week, where the running game kept the Texans in it, it was all up to the air, all in the air, because in the ground it was bad. I really don't know where the fault truly lies anymore. I just can't tell. All I can tell you for certain is that John McClain put it best. This team is so undisciplined. They have no drive. They don't show any urgency to get to the ball as much as you think. It's just pathetic. He even said the Browns are better than Houston. He expects the Browns to beat the Texans later this year.
I mean, at this point, that's true.
I can tell you where you're... It all starts at the top. I think Bill O'Brien is one of the worst head coaches in the NFL.
He's acting like it, that's for sure.
There is one bright spot, though, and that has been Will Fuller, and that's a legit second option as well.
Yep,
So,
but again, the problem is they are not giving him any opportunities as much as you think.
Listen, J.J. Watt is still J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt is the fucking GOAT. You're like, oh, he's over for him. Like, weren't you the same people who said Tiger Woods was done? Oh, wait, what did Tiger do on Sunday?
win.
Oh, yeah, nothing but respect for my GOAT.
All right, relax. But but J.J. Watt looked great on Sunday.
That's why I said earlier. Apart from J.J., the rest of the team was pretty much trash.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, he's playing scared out there. Like,
why do you think I'm fine with tanking just so I can get a couple linemen? They need linemen. They need cornerbacks. They need safeties. They have no depth at either of them anymore. They've already lost so many players, and they just keep losing more. Oh yeah, if you think that's bad, you want to know an interesting stat?
What's that?
Out of all the penalties, the offensive line has committed half of them, and of that half, Julian Davenport has 25% of the entire flags that have been accumulated so far this season. One man has committed that much. I have not seen something that bad since Vontaze Burfict.
Seahawks last year.
That's bad. That's scary bad.
I mean but that's also something that can be worked on. That's the good news. That can be worked on. The bad news is that you have no coach that is instilling.
There's also another thing. They have no
them.
choice but to start him because the alternative is Kendall Lamb, and he's even worse.
Again, to me, that's something that's workable if you have the right personnel to work on.
I'm just gonna go back into the basement and draft a bunch of linemen and secondary players, and then come back
That
because
doesn't
this.
work, though. That technique doesn't work because look at the Seattle Seahawks and the Indianapolis Colts, the two teams that have drafted the most offensive linemen over the last 5 years.
Yeah, and Seattle, you can make the case,
I think you can also make the case that the Colts offensive line is it's much better than before. I know they they failed Luck at the last play of the game last week, but other than that, they've been giving Luck more opportunities to throw, and that's kind of why they've been in all of those games that they've lost.
But they've been bad for 5 years.
Yeah,
they have
and
been
a little bit better than bad is still.
But if they're slowly improving, it's only a matter of time before they get out of the fucking basement.
But I'll put it this way. When look at how they're improving. Indianapolis got rid of Chuck Pagano. That's an instant upgrade right now, and now they're getting better. Bill O'Brien, to be fair, he should be fired right now. That team is
100%.
not. That team is not performing for him. It just isn't.
It isn't at all, not one bit, and it disappoints me greatly.
And it just reflects really poorly on the front office because
they extended him not too long ago. They gave him a 4-year extension.
Won the power struggle. The GM that's in Houston right now is Bill O'Brien's boy. So
yeah, he just got here because Rick Smith left, who I miss already.
Right. You guys got rid of the wrong person. I feel like the Browns...
No, we didn't get rid of him. He stepped down on his own because he's taking care of his wife who has cancer. Or something like that. That's why he's not there anymore. Not because he did bad. He stepped down on his own will.
Well, he stepped down saying, I don't want to work with Bill O'Brien.
Well, I'm just going to believe what he said. I'm not going to put a narrative in there where there may not be. I'm just leaving it at that. I ain't faulting Rick Smith for nothing, because at the very least, he's been one of our better GMs, which is, there's not that many, but hey, you take what you get.
But he's getting the Howie treatment that Philly gave.
Anyway, so I don't know what to expect for this team. All I want now, you're not making the playoffs. At least beat the Cowboys. You could literally go 1-15, but that one game is against the Cowboys. I'll be happy. I just want them to beat the Cowboys in 2 weeks. That's all I'm asking now. I don't give a shit about the rest of your games because you're done.
It's definitely doable.
What?
Doable?
It is doable. In fact, for all I know, I've noticed that there's these Sunday night games, a couple of them, especially that Lions one, was a get-right kind of game. And maybe this one will be the get-right kind of game.
But what if it's a get-right game for the Cowboys?
Well, not anymore. But that's what everyone thought. They were getting better, so who knows? I'm just saying, I just want them to beat the Cowboys, and that's it. I don't really care if they lose every other game. Just beat Dallas, so I can make fun of Dallas, and as they inevitably go like 7-9 to 9-7 again. Pure mediocrity. They don't get top tier picks, so they can really rebuild a franchise. It seems Dallas and Houston aren't too different from each other anymore for one big reason. So long as their head coaches still exist there, they will never win anything.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's true.
I'm not wrong. Am I wrong, Mr. Chicken?
Though Bill O'Brien has won more playoff games than Jason Garrett.
Just one. I don't see them doing. I don't see them going much farther than that if they're going to keep playing like this. But Chicken, do you agree?
Yeah.
As long as those two coaches stay where they are, neither Texas team shall win a Super Bowl. There's
Both
my hot
Texas
take.
Coaches, I think they both need to be fired for those teams to improve.
Well, I can tell you, Bill O'Brien may have a shot, but not Jason Garrett. Why?
Jason Garrett. Oh, Jason Garrett is very almost certainly getting fired after this year. I put money on it right now.
All right, you got your hot take. You want to bet a sandwich, Mr. Chicken?
Yeah, I'll throw a sandwich on that.
All right. If I'm not playing those disgusting sandwich sound drops that the Around the NFL podcast does, you know which ones I'm talking about, Chicken. They're just disgusting.
I have some pickles in my fridge. I could definitely crunch into one into the microphone.
It's horrible, but I mean, anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I don't believe that Jason Garrett will be fired. Why? Because he's Jerry Jones's lap boy. He's his lap dog, his little chihuahua. He does what he
Well,
wants.
He was for the last 4 years, but you know what Jerry Jones loves more than little ginger men?
Oh no, no.
What he loves more than little ginger men and cocaine is winning football games.
Well,
True.
what I think the other way to put this is he doesn't want to look like a fool.
I mean, it's a little late for that. You're Jerry Jones. And
No,
you
but
haven't
his
won
little
a
world, he thinks he's
playoff
gonna.
game.
As long as he wins games, he'll look like a genius. But if he does lose games, then he looks like an idiot. He won't take that. Either way, we'll see. Let's see how long Garrett's loyalty will last for him. And speaking of, a perfect segue. Because let's talk about that Cowboys-Seahawks game, because I'm done talking Houston. At least the Astros are making it better for me. I swear to God, I think the Astros killed both the Texans and the Rockets so that they may have secured a World Series win. And they may have done it again this year, too.
Someone in Houston gave up their soul.
I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think they gave them. I think they just took it. They just robbed their souls, like that Grim Reaper from Castlevania. Just swiped them with the scythe, and that was it.
Like the Monstars.
From Space Jam.
Exactly.
Space Jam 2's happening. I'm excited.
Oh God.
It's weird that Space Jam 2 is happening in Houston.
They're gonna drain James Harden's powers. Then they're gonna go to Toronto and steal Kawhi Leonard's powers. That's gonna be
God.
fun.
Well,
So with the Seahawks and the Cowboys, what my assumption was from 2 weeks ago was pretty much confirmed, and that is that the Seahawks defense is better than the Seahawks offense.
Yeah. It is.
It's straight up. Seattle had 3 turnovers on defense and only 1 or maybe even 0 turnovers on offense. The problem is the offense is still not capitalizing on these defensive turnovers. I think we got 3 points off of turnovers against the Cowboys, which works against the Cowboys since they're terrible, but against any competitive team could prove to be an issue.
Didn't they score a couple touchdowns because the Cowboys secondary made some big mistakes, like blown coverages and stuff?
So I don't know if you guys have been watching any Seahawks games, but
I saw
once
the
a
first
week
half of
so
that
far.
game, but that was
So
it.
Tyler Lockett has been taking the lid off of defenses at least once a week this year, which is huge.
I
And
think
the Seahawks are still without their number 1 receiver, Doug Baldwin.
isn't he out for the year?
Doug Baldwin?
Yeah. Did he get injured in week 1?
He was dealing with a knee thing earlier in preseason, and he's probably going to start week 4, week 5. I think week 5 we play the Raiders. In week 6 we have a bye. So it wouldn't surprise me if we held him until after the bye just to get rested up.
Oh yes, the Marshawn revenge game.
Yeah, but the Raiders are like the Cowboys, but
Well, yeah, I said the AFC counterpart to the Cowboys. Too gung-ho
Oh my
on the
God.
past.
right, and they're still it's 2 dumb gingers running those teams.
Just trade Derek Carr to the Jaguars so the Jags can win a Super Bowl.
Derek Carr's not good enough to take.
Derek
the
Carr is
Jaguars
better
to
than
the
Blake
Super Bowl.
Bortles. I will fight
Here's
you
my
on that.
Here's my hot take. Derek Carr's not a good quarterback.
Here's my hot take: Blake Bortles needs to go, and they need somebody better. If they had Eli Manning, they might stay undefeated.
That's literally not true.
Well, as they're playing the Texans twice, so he could easily get 2 free W's there. And the defense would do the rest of the work for him. Basically, you see a reenactment of the old sheriff's way of leaving
I
the
think the
NFL.
biggest mistake the Jaguars made was not going after Kirk Cousins stronger.
They didn't. Well, I think
Right.
Kirk Cousins wanted to go to Minnesota no matter what.
But
So chicken. How about Earl Thomas and that nice interception I saw when that happened?
Ooh, that little tip drill.
Yeah,
Little
I'm
finger
glad
tip.
the refs let him play it out
Oh yeah.
because I thought they were gonna stop it. I thought it was an interception, but I was like, no,
My-
these refs are gonna say nope, it's not a pick.
My biggest pet peeve is when referees blow play dead before it's actually dead.
Yeah,
And
they usually do it now. Like they've given more leeway these days. I think they do it now
I
when they
love
think
it.
it's really obvious, but they could still be wrong. But it's always a judgment call.
right. But honestly, like I said, the Seahawks need to capitalize on these like fantastic defensive plays that are being made because the Seahawks defense is still a top 10 defense in the NFL, even without Richard Sherman, without Cam Chancellor, without Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill. This defense is still chugging along because Pete Carroll and Chris Richard. Is he Chris? No, Chris Richard's in Dallas now, isn't he? The hell?
not.
Anywho, oh, it's Ken Norton. Ken Norton's in Seattle. Yeah, that defense is doing just fine. And I mean, Earl is super important to that because Earl is the best safety in the NFL and maybe the best safety since Troy Polamalu, like as an all-time sort of thing.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that one.
Like he's on like Ed Reed level, like where he's just like that insanely good.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, so chicken, what's gonna happen next? Because it looks like the Seattle offense has to be very opportunistic. Like they gotta get
Seattle
really lucky.
offense needs to. So, one nice thing that happened with the Seahawks is that they did stick to one running back, like not as efficient as possible as he could have been. I mean, he had 32 carries for 102 yards and a touchdown, which, you know, we had our first rushing touchdown of the year from a running back, which is fantastic.
Yay, no
Um,
curse.
Couldn't be happier about that. And
Wait, so
honestly,
that
I
means the
think-
streak went 18 games? Okay, you didn't get one last year, so that was 18.
no, we had one rushing touchdown by a running back last year, but none from the red zone.
Oh, okay.
We had one of our like gadget running backs take a jet sweep from like 25 yards out to the house like week 1 last year.
Yikes, that's still a bad streak, though.
Right, but you know, we got one in, and
You're safe.
you know, Rashad Penny's looking to be like one of the worst first round picks that the Seahawks have taken
But there's
in the
there.
Pete Carroll era.
But what about my boy Shaquem Griffin?
Yo, Shaq Griffin's been playing great.
Shaq
He's-
Fu.
I mean, he still gets, you know, he's a year 2 corner, so you know he's still learning things and he's still adjusting his technique. And Shaquille Griffin? Oh, Shaquem Griffin.
Yeah, you know, with one arm.
Oh, he's a rookie. He's definitely.
I know he made a play. I didn't see it, but I heard he made a big play.
He's like, yeah, he's kind of a gadget player for the defense. Like he's very versatile, but he's good at a lot of things, but he's not specifically great at any one thing, which works perfect. Right. And he's a rookie, so
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, you have to grow into being
Right.
a everyday player. You're just not going to be an everyday player unless you're some super talent.
But like, here's the thing: like the two people on the depth chart ahead of him are Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright, two of the top players that they're.
Well, they're gonna mentor him, and then
Right.
eventually he will just become them. One of
But
them,
you
maybe.
could argue, I mean, Bobby Wagner is, a top 2, top 3 middle linebacker in the NFL, and KJ Wright is a top 5, weak side linebacker.
But Chicken, how is it nice? How is it to get some good? What was it? How do I put it? How is it nice to get better against Dallas to fix some stuff and fix
There's
everything?
still a lot to fix, but I'm happy that Seattle was able to put together
Because
a consistent enough game.
They were really good at pressuring Dak Prescott.
Well, here's the thing. Dak Prescott's throwing to Joe from Kmart and a guy named Steve they picked up in the parking lot before the game. He has no help to throw that. Like, he's throwing that ball up to freaking nobody's. Cole Beasley pushes carts.
They
at
need to
my
get
local
some
grocery
wide.
store.
They actually are in a position where they kind of have to go wide receiver, and I can understand now, because they got rid of Dez, and because they don't really they only have Cole Beasley, who's meant to be a deep ball threat. All they need to do is lock him up, which isn't
Cole
that
Beasley's
hard,
not a deep ball.
No,
and you got to have him
not-
beat with somebody else, and they're not going to beat
Cole
him.
Beasley is a slot man
Okay,
at
he's a little
best, and
slot boy. He's like a bad Wes Welker.
I mean, literally, to get good against Dallas, I mean, you just stack the box on Ezekiel and.
Well, they
just
did. They
keep
even made him
in
fumble
check.
the ball when he got a first down. I forget who did it.
Always,
Somebody just
always.
swatted it out of his hands. He was not even protecting it. He thought he was going to go far. Fool. You got to always protect the ball. Protect
yeah.
the rock. But either way, I feel like if they don't get Dak some offensive help soon, they're going to turn him into the next Alex Smith. Check down, check down, check down.
You say that, but Alex Smith is so much better now than he was.
Somehow.
Yeah, he's pretty
Like,
good nowadays.
Dak's playing not like a bet out Smith.
You know when
but
I'm
like a
you know when
bad
I'm talking
quarterback.
Alex Smith, I'm talking the one that would never go beyond 20 yards. Just I'm gonna
He's
throw
playing-
like for 5
playing,
yards,
like-
8 yards, 7 yards, maybe 10.
I'd say he's regressed to like Teddy Bridgewater because at least Alex
Yeah.
Smith could move. Dak Prescott's really not running around. a
Dak
lot.
should be able to move. He was very mobile. It's like they have to play conservative now because they just don't have talent, which is funny considering they thought they were like, oh, we don't need Dez to make Dak better.
And to be fair, the biggest strength of their team, that Dallas team, their offensive line is now not a strength.
Travis
Let's just
Frederick
put it
is
that
dealing
way.
with an autoimmune disease, and other players are hurt, and some of them are just starting to become inconsistent. A couple have left. That line did not last long. That line was built for Romo, and when he gone, the rest of the team went.
Indy.
So, yikes, Dallas. Please keep playing bad, just so I can beat you. I just want Houston to beat you, so I can get those bragging rights. Say, hey, we won this session. So I'll see you again in 4 years.
Dallas is our constant punching bag in these 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, because this week, they're playing all three of
they
our
burned it.
teams in the span of 3 weeks. First they played Chicken's team, now they're gonna play Bill's team, and then they're gonna play my team. The football schedule makers knew. They knew of the podcast.
Wow.
They love us, and they know that we just want to just poke a few holes in their in the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas is overrated because they
Wow.
do not deserve all those primetime games. They never
That's a
deserve
hot
them. Am I right, Chicken? They don't deserve them.
No.
I agree.
Talent, I mean, sure, they bring in the views, but talent-wise, they haven't earned it. Go give it to
Listen,
like the
I'm
Jaguars or something, not them.
if I'm
The
ever
Rams.
subject to another Cowboys-Giants night game, I'll kill myself on the pod.
Think of it this way: just be glad Al and Chris don't have any say on what games they get, as much as I say they do. Because if they did, they would pick NFC East teams for almost every fucking week.
And behold, the Washington-Philadelphia game, part 2. It's like, no, how about not?
But either way, so let's get a little move on to the last game. So, Mr. Bill, I understand that Detroit it's gotten a little chaotic over there, but the good kind. I mean, I guess you could say it's almost business as usual in there.
Oh yeah,
But a very special moment happened. The stars aligned and went against all odds. Everyone went New England. We went New England. But the Lions, Bill, they came in a big spot to deny Bill Belichick a guaranteed W. They said, no, you gotta earn it, and they couldn't. Mr. Bill, what did the Lions do? How did they do it?
Well, to be fair, this game was a total, really from the start, a total team victory. And it started with the defense, because anytime you play Tom Brady, you know your defense is going to be tested, especially with Gronk out there. Now, they're missing a couple of key pieces in Edelman and
Josh Gordon didn't play either.
Josh Gordon. You know, I mean,
Stars
so
aligned.
it was, they aligned to the point that, you know, hey, they don't have a few of their offensive stars, but I mean, still they had James White, and they had the person that they're overhyping, Sony Michel. I mean, to be fair, James White's the better running back of those running backs.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
bet they miss Dion Lewis right now.
James White is James White. I think is better than Dion Lewis.
Yeah, but
we'll
I think
talk
having
about that.
multiple weapons of their quality was good.
I mean, Sony Michel is overhyped. They still have Chris Hogan. I mean, they have still some weapons there. And to be fair, they still have the best of all time throwing the football to these guys and getting them open. So to play that well on defense against him and take away a lot of what he was doing without Ezekiel Ansah even being active was a big win for that defense. But we did what New England does well. We took away what New England does well and forced them into being very one-sided. The other thing is we ran the damn football with my man.
Rusher in 5 years, baby.
Hell yes. Thank God. Hallelujah. Now I never, ever have to watch television ever again on a football game and hear, well, the Detroit Lions haven't had 100-yard rushers. And you know what? Shut the fuck up now, please. All right.
Bill's had it up to here.
Though, I've had it up to there from about listening to this 100. It's almost as bad as listening to, oh, the Lions haven't won in Green Bay in 25 years. We get it. We heard that last year at 24.
Lions fans know all they had to. They've been keeping track. They've been marking their calendars every Thanksgiving. Like, this could be the year.
Exactly. I don't need to hear that anymore. You know, I also mark my calendar to say, when's the last time I had a playoff victory in my lifetime? And it was 27 years ago. So I'm so tired of listening to that. So thank God we got a 100-yard rusher with the person that should be our starting running back, Kerryon Johnson. Sorry, LeGarrette. I know you're there for a role. You're our goal line running back. That's all you'll ever be. Kerryon should be the starting running back of the Detroit Lions. He provides a different dynamic to that offense. And when he's out there, that offense is more dynamic and dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, the game was well called throughout. You know, I didn't mind the referees. Typically, you know, if you get a New England game, they're gonna throw flags on you constantly because, you know, the Patriots need a little bit of extra help.
Well,
So-
in Boston they usually get it, but this wasn't in Boston. But
I
Bill,
mean, it's still the Patriots.
how about
Yeah.
the dimes to Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones, 2
Yeah,
touchdowns.
Listen,
would say
Kenny
the more-
Galladay.
Galladay's
Galladay-
good. I like him. He's very fun.
This is Kenny Galladay's second year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So between Kenny Galladay and Carry On My Wayward Son, like you have a nice young set of skill makers.
Oh yeah. Like Kenny Galladay is, I would say, as much as I appreciate Kelvin Johnson, he's a less drama filled, maybe even more talented.
He's a better
Calvin.
route runner, but Calvin Johnson was one of the most
I mean-
physically gifted human beings
I mean,
of all time.
he could catch the freaking he could
you
catch
see
the
the-
football if you threw it in his
Did you
giant.
see the sports science video on
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson?
Oh yeah. He can
They're
do
like-
a lot of things.
He's like, if you threw it to the other side of a house he was living in, he would catch it while still sitting down.
Right. What really, the thing that always killed me with Calvin, and here's the thing that always, like those receivers like Dez or any of those other receivers that, they're 6'4" gifted freaks, is you always force the football into them, and that's never the best decision.
And those players are always the first. Though you'll see, like players like that tend to retire earlier because, physical talent and mental talent are two different things in the NFL. And if you're extremely physically talented, but your mental talent's on the lower end, you're not going to last that as long as someone who's like, look at Larry Fitzgerald. I mean,
Yeah.
he is physically talented. Don't get me wrong, but like his mental game is insane, and that's why he's.
Well, he
34
also
and
he
still-
could handle his pride better. Remember, Bruce Arians, or I call him Football Popovich. He asked him, "Hey, can you be a slot receiver? I know that may sound like I'm not treating you like the number one guy, but if you take this spot, you're gonna have more opportunities to get some
I mean,
catches." And he
He
accepted.
led the league. I think he led the league in catches last year.
He did on that year. That wonderful 13-3 team that I loved watching so much. He was one of the best wide receivers that year, like statistically speaking. I mean,
And see, and that's what Calvin never had. He never. I liked Calvin as a player in Detroit. I really did. And here's the issues. Matthew Stafford was never going to progress as a quarterback as long as he had Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson was in effect almost a detriment to his development as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Because without Calvin Johnson, you have to throw it to people that are not as physically gifted, and you have to throw it into tight windows. You have to read coverages. You have to find your hot routes. You have to do that sort of stuff. It made Matthew Stafford a better quarterback without the gifted wide receiver. And to be fair, I prefer this method over having a Calvin Johnson any day. And Kenny Galladay, he has all the gifts as freaking Calvin would. Calvin's much more gifted, but Galladay has a very similar skill set, but also is not the king of drama either.
yeah. But I was gonna tell you, Mr. Bill, I think that's why everyone likes their safety net to be a tight end instead of a wide receiver, because you're gonna be more dependent on a wide receiver than a tight end. The tight end's the last guy you look at typically, and they're usually the ones that are gonna get a good shot at getting free because they're big guys. Uh-oh, Chicken's gone. There's Chicken.
I don't know.
Oh,
It
you're-
died for a second. I don't know.
Oh, yikes.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, as I was saying, tight ends like Jason Witten and Travis Kelce, they never really were detriments to their quarterbacks. Like Romo had a lot of faith in Witten, but he didn't force the ball to him all the time. Witten just found ways to get open. But wide receivers, you know, they're gonna get the tougher cornerbacks that go up against them, and you know they gotta make the wide receivers got to go make insane reaches to go get the ball, and that's what leads them to get hurt sometimes.
Right.
So that's why I think it's better for somebody. If you're gonna have a safety net, you can't. It has to be a tight end, not a wide receiver.
Yeah.
You get dependent on wide receivers.
Yeah. But to just tie a bow on this game, overall, I thought it was a well-played, dominant performance. There really was only one real drive.
Oh,
that
that scary moment. I know what you're talking about.
13-10 drive. Where they made it 13-10.
Yeah, because Stafford threw an ugly
hey.
pass that got picked off. That was just a bad throw. It was a bit of a forced throw.
But otherwise, Detroit pretty much owned that game and owned the time of possession, and they kept Brady off the field. And that overall, you know, they asserted their will with that Marvin Jones catch that made it 20-10, and they just never looked back.
Bill, you will never see the entire internet, the entire NFL fandom just pretty much rally behind Detroit to beat the Patriots.
I mean, unless the Patriots are the most hated team of all time.
You get what? It's because none of us thought they were gonna beat the Patriots. Just be honest. I'm not gonna lie about that. I didn't expect this.
Watching Patriots fans.
Watching the sports pundits act like, oh, I never picked against the Patriots, or like you're a fucking liar. Or I never would. I never picked against the Lions. I always believed.
Watching the Patriots fans on Twitter.
Try hearing on the radio. Oh God.
This is always fun.
I asked my friend Thomas, who lives in Boston, to go like listen to some of the sports radios the Monday after, get some like newspaper clippings about like some articles, like, oh, the salt is real. Oh, it was fucking funny.
Good.
There's one that was like kind of treating it like it was very fluky. Like they were like, oh yeah, we got beaten on all forms, but I could feel like there was still some salt, and like, you know, they really want to disagree with that game and think that it was lucky. More so than, you know, actual just out coaching the team. I don't know. Detroit, Boston fans are, you know, they're a very salty bunch when they don't get their way.
Right.
Isn't that right, Red Sox?
But that's really all I have to say about that game. I thought it was a great victory for the city, and you know, it was a very fun game to watch.
Oh yeah.
From my end.
But as for me, Mr. Bill, Carry On Johnson, or as Chicken put it, carry on my wayward son. I like him. Maybe they'll just keep feeding him the ball. They need to.
Starting running back.
Imagine if Matt Stafford could like play off of play action for once in his career.
Right? I mean, Jim Bob Cooter. That was something I thought he would do more in that game since freaking Carry On was going off, and they just never really did it.
They also held Tom Brady to 130 some odd passing yards.
I think also T.J. Lang was one of the highest rated offensive linemen this week. Because of all the running opportunities, he just started pushing.
Frankly, the Patriots don't have a pass rush at all.
They really miss.
Don't have. To be fair, luckily the Patriots don't even have a defense at all.
Right. I was gonna say Patrick Chung got hurt. Malcolm Butler got hurt.
Oh, Malcolm Butler's a Titan. Remember that?
Oh.
Yeah, remember they benched him for a stupid reason in that Super Bowl. And lost, and he might have actually made an impact, and yeah, now he's a Titan.
Who's their other corner now?
The old Bills one.
And Marshawn Gilmore or something?
No, Stephon Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore.
Gilmore got hurt.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they just don't have a defense right now.
They just don't have a pass rush. The cornerbacks can do better if their pass rush is there.
That's true.
It's a very weird situation. But
it is.
All right, guys. how about a couple of other games that we normally would talk about? So how about let's start in Minnesota, the correct Minnesota. The Buffalo landed in Wisconsin, thinking that was Minnesota, but hey, they showed up more to play than the real Minnesota team. Yikes!
So the Buffalo Bills beat the freaking Minnesota Vikings by more than the point spread that was given to them by odds makers in Vegas, which was 17 points. This is the biggest upset in Vegas history in, I want to say, 25 years.
Holy shit! Oh,
Yeah,
so
it's
many people in
insane.
Vegas were so bad that they did not get anybody. They lost.
Oh,
them.
Vegas got so much money off of that game. It's insane.
Well, the people who picked the Vikings, they got fucked.
Mhm.
Thinking, oh, it's an easy one. I got this in the bag. Nope, get fucked.
This game is the reason so many survivor pool leagues
Yep.
got ruined.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that's funny. Well, not just that. They had remember we just talked about the other one. The Lions one also didn't help.
I mean, that to be fair, as a NFC North fan, watching Minnesota get beat down by the Buffalo Bills with a rookie quarterback,
That felt good.
it warmed my heart.
Yeah, and now
It-
Chicago's leading the division somehow.
At 2-1. The funny thing is that this division's gonna go down to week 17. And it's going to be a drag out fight mess. It's going to be
Those
beautiful.
ties are really gonna screw some shit up.
Yeah, well, remember it goes both ways. The AFC and the NFC have two teams that are tying. You got the Browns, who we already talked about already, but I mean they won too, which is good for them. The Steelers
Browns
tied
are
and
one-
they won. I want to talk about that game last because you'll see. Minnesota, and now this is the one I want to mention next. Green Bay. Wow, Washington. Alex Smith. You were praising him earlier. He did pretty well. Although that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what the hell is with these roughing the passer calls. That doesn't make any sense. That is not roughing the
Well-
passer. I know. Okay, I'm playing a bit of devil's advocate because I'm gonna laugh at Green Bay in the end. Just if I take teams out and my bias is out, that's not roughing the passer at all.
It's a bad call, and the worst part is there was a no call going in the other direction earlier that game.
Oh yeah,
But it's Green Bay's fault that rule exists.
that's
This is
that's
Aaron
exactly what
Rodgers.
I'm trying to say.
This is the Aaron Rodgers collarbone injury rule.
It's the Aaron Rodgers rule.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the Aaron Rodgers rule.
Congratulations!
And-
You know you're an impactful player to the world of football when you have a rule made after you.
Well, when you have a shitty rule made after you,
Yeah.
just like the Kelvin Johnson rule.
Or the Tom Brady rule.
Yeah.
Oh God. But anyway, so now here's the thing. For 2 weeks now, the Packers fan base, the cheeseheads are like, no, the refs are again out to get us. Well, now you know how every other team has felt when they played you. Because remember, you guys are saying you've been getting screwed over. That rule exists because of stupid shit like what the chicken you just mentioned. And then, of course, the whole, Bill, I'm going to remind them of a very frustrating time that you and I, we really had, let's just say we had a blast talking about that game. The Hail Mary game that made Aaron Rodgers famous. More famous, I should say. The one where the only reason he got the opportunity was because one Lions player, his finger touched and grazed the helmet, the side of the helmet, and it was called face masks. Somehow,
Yeah.
and even the analysts, I forget.
still don't understand. This is what I don't understand. So it's okay for an offensive player to stiff arm a defensive player in the face
Yep.
as an active runner, but God forbid you look at the helmet of an offensive player as a defensive player, you're getting
Right.
15 yards.
I've always see. Thank you for that because I've always said that you're not allowed to play defense in the NFL, and
You're not.
it's the most ridiculous thing in the NFL. I mean,
I feel so bad for Clay Matthews right now, though.
I know,
really do.
even though he has to thank his own boy Aaron Rodgers for creating this rule. But
I think the fact that this happened 2 weeks in a row in the, 2 of the first 3 weeks of the season is beneficial because they will call it less.
yeah, but like I said, sure, you have on one hand, yes, you have every right to be mad, but also just consider this. Now you know what it's like to be on the other side. For years now, the Packers have been getting away with bullshit calls that were for them, and
You know what, though? I don't know.
it's like what I mentioned with the Detroit call. That one was a stupid call, and that's what pretty much gave them the win.
I have no sympathy for any team because, like, the Seahawks were the most penalized team over the last 5 years.
Oh, yeah,
By a
well,
large
join the
margin.
club with Bill. Bill's team was also one of the most penalized, right? Remember, Bill, the last time you made the playoffs, you were one of the most flagged teams in the NFL that year.
oh yeah. Well,
There's a correlation, though. There's a correlation between being flagged often and
and winning.
being a good team, right?
Yeah, but
I
no,
mean,
but my point is both. I'm just saying, Bill can sympathize with you or empathize.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like legitimately, the Packers and I have a bias because I'm an NFC North guy, but the Packers always have the referee's ear because they have Aaron Rodgers. Just like the Patriots have the ear of the referees because they have Tom Brady. It's always the certain quarterbacks get special preferential treatment, and teams that have those quarterbacks get special preferential treatment.
Remember last year or a year before that, there was like a young quarterback saying, who was like saying, "Hey, throw a flag for that," and it's like, you're not Aaron Rodgers. Like, you're not, he was basically like, you're not a veteran player. I forget.
No, that was Cam Newton.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, against the
That was
Cardinals.
Cam
It was that Cardinals game. He wouldn't throw a flag.
That was racism. That wasn't ageism.
That was stupid. Yeah, I remember that one.
This was Cam in like a playoff run like 2 years ago, and Cam's like, "Come on, you got to throw that flag," and he's like, "You're not Tom Brady."
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
stupid. But
It's
it's just that just shows that some of the refs have a very selective bias on who and who they won't flag. But ugh. Anyway, speaking of the stiff arm, though, I know you mentioned it earlier and how that the hypocrisy and all that, but that was fucking funny with what what's his name, Vance McDonald did to that Bucks player. He pretty much ended his career, and he pushed him to the ground so hard that his children felt it.
Definitely left
What?
His soul left his body.
He just, like he bodied him so hard. His children's children are going to be feeling it.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but on the sideline, one of the Steelers' defensive players, I think it was Cam Hayward, was standing by, watching by, and the look on his face, he was just like, "Oh my god!" Like a kid on Christmas morning looking at that stiff arm.
like, man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
I wish I was allowed to play like that.
Wait. Did Juju get a touchdown that game? Because I wonder, if he gets a touchdown, is he going to do a Fortnite dance? I expect him to do a Fortnite dance. I feel like he's planning for it.
You never know with Juju.
Either way,
You'll literally.
I like him too. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much what happened last week. That was a very fun week, and it ruined a lot of our picks. Although last time I checked, Mr. Chicken, you are in the lead. Although this last set of games, I don't know. I just gone off of what I had to calculate for week 2.
I mean, I picked we had 6 picks, so I don't even remember who I picked. But
I know I lost at least one with the Detroit game.
Well, we all
Yeah,
lost
I think
one.
we
We all
all
picked the
lost.
Patriots that game.
I think I went 2-1 within our 3 teams, but then
Yeah,
after
I
that,
picked-
I don't know.
I picked the Giants. I know.
Yeah,
I
I
did.
went 1 and 2.
I think I picked the.
You
what
picked-
were the games? It was
You
the Giants,
you
it
picked the
was
Giants.
I did pick the Giants.
It was.
But
I'm looking. Oh,
Oh,
well,
I lost the Bengals.
we all lost the
Kansas
Bengals. We all picked the Bengals on the road.
What was the other game?
Uh,
The 2 other games.
Oh, Did I we did San Fran and KC. We all picked KC. Also, speaking of, rip
Yeah.
Jimmy G. Rest in peace, that handsome man. He's gone for the year. Torn ACL. Fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Fucked. Either way,
Did we do Saints?
Oh, it was
Saints, Falcons. And I got that one wrong.
We did Saints Falcons. We did the Chargers Rams.
Oh, we got that one wrong. We all got that one right. We all picked the Rams.
Yeah.
No, I think I went contrarian and picked the Chargers.
Oh yeah, I'll have a free L. Nice job.
New Orleans and Atlanta.
I got that
picked-
one wrong. They.
All right.
Either way, I wanted to tell you guys. I told you we should have picked Titans Jags. I would have won that. I was gonna pick the Titans, but you like, no way the Jags gonna lose to that, bitch. You don't know the Jags. They do not know how to
Don't
defeat
know
the
AFC
Titans.
South.
What?
Apparently we just don't know the AFC South.
You just don't know. You just don't know the AFC South like I do, I guess.
See, I pay it.
I
we all
live
pay
in the
attention to our
AFC South.
divisions.
The Titans are back with Blaine Gabbert. But seriously,
Oh, man.
hey, with the Browns and Lions winning, can I get a little Lions-Browns Super Bowl hype here?
Go home
Nope.
with that Great Lakes bullshit.
Oh, that would be fun, and you know it.
See, it would be like an extension of the Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly feud.
I would still watch it.
And
Hey, the
With
sad thing is the
that-
Browns have a better shot at winning their division than a couple of teams from there.
all right.
Anyway,
Are we ready for some picks?
I am ready. So, Mr. Bill, are you ready for the Pick 6 segment?
I am ready. And here we go. It's the Thursday night game. The Minnesota Vikings at the Los Angeles
We
Rams.
already picked this one. So, I think
But-
we all went Rams. Do any of you wish to change it? I'm not. I am all in on the Rams right now.
Not after what the Vikings did last week.
So,
I just want Todd Gurley to teabag.
I
The entire
do
Vikings
feel
team.
poorly for the Vikings team. They had a lot going on. One of their players is, I think, being held in a psych institute right now because he had a really bad day. I'm trying to think who. It's one of the defensive players. The one with the He's the one with the crazy eyes and a lisp. I forget his name.
I don't know. I forget his name
Who are
too
some of the
now.
Who are some of the D linemen?
Oh, Lenval Joseph.
And it's not Linval.
I'm trying to think.
It's not Daniil Hunter. Anywho, so the Rams are due for a struggle game, and the Vikings aren't as bad a team as people think they are, even though they lost to the Bills, which is why I'm calling for an upset alert.
Oh,
Give me the Vikings to squeak by the Rams at the last minute.
interesting.
Everson Griffin?
It's Everson Griffin. That's who it is. Is he linebacker or D lineman?
He's a D lineman. Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Vikings also got Dan Bailey.
Also, I
Upgrade.
believe the Rams are going to be without both Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters this game.
They are. They're going to lose them for a
So-
few weeks, so they're about to face some adversity, but, I just feel like they can put it away. Anyway, alright then. I need to make sure to get this one up by, I might have to get it up by tonight, because tomorrow I won't be back till like 9.
Well,
I
oh
believe
man.
in you.
Alright then.
Oh.
So, let's move on to the next game.
On to our next. It is the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts.
Fuck you, Houston. I don't believe in you. Just like you, Mr. Bill, I'm going to keep picking against them, save for that Cowboys game, until they prove me wrong. So, go Colts. Andrew Luck finally due for a big win.
T.Y. Hilton's going to go off for 200 yards.
Walk. That's just sad. Walk.
200 yards, but still no touchdowns because to hell with my fantasy teams, apparently.
Hey, maybe if you keep picking against them,
Well-
you'll get what you want.
I'll pick against
gonna-
my fantasy. Oh, my bad.
No. Go ahead.
I'm gonna pick against my fantasy quarterback, and I'm going to pick Indy. Their defense is actually much better than it was last year.
Yep. Well, they got a better coach, so that explains a lot.
And
the-
go ahead.
The Texans are in the middle of imploding, so
Yep, like I said, just beat Dallas. That's all I care for now.
new head coach by week 6. Love it.
Can I ask for
Man.
Gary Kubiak back, even though he's pretty much out forever?
Right.
I take him back,
All right.
to be honest.
So we all picked.
We all pick the Colts because Texans are a great disappointment.
Next up, we have the Detroit Lions at the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh boy, I'm all in now on this. The Lions destroy Dallas for me. Make my night, as I do not want to lose $20, and in order for that to happen, I need the Cowboys to keep losing. So go ahead, Detroit. Make me proud. I believe in you. Let Kerryon Johnson just incinerate that defense, and the wide receivers will do all the rest.
Could this be the week that Detroit has 2 straight 100-yard weeks? I mean, I think it's possible. I've got the Lions. I think they'll run the football a lot more with Kerryon Johnson. They need to. He needs to be starting quarterback. And who the hell is Dak going to throw the football to?
You mean running back?
Yeah, I say running
You said
back.
starting quarterback. You said Kerryon Johnson needs to be a starting quarterback. Do you not believe in Matt Stafford anymore, Mr. Bill?
Well, it would throw a real wrench into the game plan of the Cowboys.
That's what we call a trick play. Like the Baker Mayfield trick play. That one was fun.
Uh-oh. We lost Mr. Chicken.
Nope, he's gone. I need him.
Did I miss a pick?
No, you're just in time. So now that you're back, Bill, you picked the Lions, of course. So what are you going to do, Mr. Chicken?
I picked the Lions.
This is Lions Cowboys.
Yep.
Who them boys? Nobody knows.
Who dey?
Not even them boys. Give me the Lions. Big Cats go all the way.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So
Speaking
here
of
we
big
go.
cats.
Game number 4, the Buccaneers at the Bears.
Oh, Bill, I was talking about the Bengals. That's the other big cat.
Well, oh yeah, well
Bears can be cats if you have poor eyesight.
Oh, God. Anyway, okay. There's this one. I feel like this one is the verge of being a coin flip. On one hand, I can see the Bucs just coming in and Fitzmagic torching them with like Deshaun Jackson and whatnot. But on the other hand, I could see Khalil Mack taking over this game and creating some turnovers to give the Bears shorter distances to score. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to go with the Bears on home team alone.
This game's going to come down to which Ryan shows up. Will it be Ryan Fitzmagic or will it be Ryan Fitztragic? We don't know.
You know, like the 6 interceptions, Fitz tragic.
I mean, Fitzpatrick showed both magic and tragic last week against the Steelers. I mean, that was a tale of two halves, really. It started out tragic, but it turned into magic. Now, this is the best pass rush I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be facing so far this season. And I do, however, think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is opportunistic enough to hold Mitch Trubisky.
That's not that hard. They just got to contain Gordon Hayward.
Right. I mean, Mitch Trubisky's pretty terrible, but they did hold James Conner in check most of that Steelers game.
Yeah, I'm starting to think it may come down to which quarterback fucks up at the end.
I just think that Ryan Fitzmagic is going to shine, and I think Tampa Bay is going to walk away from the Bears with a win.
Right. And see, I look at the wide receivers that the Buccaneers have and Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson, and the Bears have...
And Chris Godwin, too.
Yeah, Chris Godwin. I mean, great.
Who are the corners
and,
for the
a few
for the
others.
Bears? I know they have a Mukamura because the pick 6 he got off of Russell
But
Wilson. That's
but
it.
he was hurt last week. So I mean, if he's playing this week, who knows? But I just look at the wide receivers. Khalil Mack is a difference maker on that defense, but I'm also a homer, and I want the Bears to lose, so I want the Bucks to win, so I got the Bucks.
All right, then. You know what? Fine. I'm gonna switch my pick. I'm gonna go Bucks too. I'm sold now.
Ooh, okay.
So we got two sweeps here. Oh no, 3 sweeps in a
I'm
row
writing them
now.
all- I'm writing them all down. There's 3 sweeps here.
And here we go. Here's game number 5. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Atlanta Falcons.
I'm gonna go. Oh, this one's tough because I feel like the Falcons can easily bounce back, but the Bengals, I feel like they need to step up
Both-
because they
both
need to
teams
not
are-
lose control of the division. They need to be ahead
Both
in order
teams
to
are
win.
motivated coming off a loss right now.
Yeah, both of them are. But it's just if the Bengals lose, both of them, if whoever loses here, they're going to lose control of the division. If they win, they control their own destinies and they control the division. But it's a really fucked situation for one team. Let's see. All right, I have a question for you two. Which wide receiving group has been playing better? Would you say the Falcons or the Bengals?
I'd say
Both.
the better wide receiving group as of right this second, because I'm pretty sure AJ Green got hurt last week. I want to say that,
I know that
I
Ridley
mean,
guy
he
is doing
doesn't-
good wonders for the Falcons, and I think
but that was one game. That was one game against the
I mean,
defense that.
they have Julio. I mean, it's Julio Jones.
I'm gonna go with the Falcons, but I think it's
Okay.
because Julio, and if not him, Ridley, that guy will do wonders.
I think Geno Atkins may end up being the difference maker in this game. I think,
Or the
Bengals-
Falcons could just choke.
or the Falcons could just choke.
It's their
Matty Ice-
it's their pride and
uh,
joy. It's the Georgia tradition. Blow a lead
I'm
in
gonna-
big moments.
I'm gonna take the Bengals here. I think this game could be the game of the week. Just like one of the most.
To be
fun
honest, I think
matchups.
Bucks Bears is the
all
sneaky
season.
game of the week.
Right, but those are that's why we picked those games, brother.
Right.
Those two games are like the two most intriguing games to me.
Well, because whoever
I-
wins can be in the driver's seat for the division potentially.
Right.
So I'm gonna take Cincy. I
I'm going to go.
think the Red Rocket has one in them.
Yeah, and see, I agree, and I feel like the Falcons' defense is pretty
Suspect at
porous and terrible. And the Bengals' defense, minus last week where they didn't play so good,
They got gassed at the end.
I feel like they're at least decent and can hold up a
It's-
little bit.
It's tough playing at in
It's-
Charlotte too because they have a grass field and it's so much different than turf.
Oh yeah, like see, I don't know. I like from what I saw, the latest report was that the head coach Marvin Lewis said that AJ Green's fine, so I'm going to go with Bengals.
Oh, if he's fine, then fine.
So-
I'll go with Bengals too. Then I thought if he's
Wait,
hurt,
Oh,
if he's hurt, I wasn't gonna pick him. It's like, well, who do the Bengals throw to? That's just Tyler Eifert.
You got Tyler Boyd and Tyler Croft.
The Tylers.
You got the Tylers. It's almost a sitcom.
All right, then. So we got
All
another
right.
sweep in the Bengals.
Really?
All right.
I'll go Cincy.
I went since I was
Alright,
gonna go. Cincy
Yeah,
because,
I'm switching to
you know,
Cincy. If AJ Green will play, sure, I think they can pull it off. But I thought he was gonna be out.
I don't think it's been decided yet.
Fine, and I'll tell you what.
eh,
I'm gonna throw a wild one out there. If he starts, I'll pick Bengals. But if not, I go Falcons. Is that acceptable?
I'll
That's fine.
I'll allow it.
I that's how I play pick'ems.
All right, then that's
All
what
right.
I'm gonna go.
If
Mine's a
that's
toss-up, so now you know what
All right.
it'll be. So let's go to the last game.
So the last game, the Seattle Seahawks at the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh boy, this one's a good one. Bird fight, bird fight.
This is between two world beaters. This could decide the NFC playoff race, really. Oh, I'm sorry, not the playoff race. The first pick of the draft.
Oh my god, I was about to correct you. It's like, boy, what you talking about? I'm gonna go Seahawks here because they have a starting quarterback. That's really all I need to say.
Josh Rosen's going up against a top 10 defense, and Russell Wilson historically lights up the Cardinals in Arizona.
Look, I like Rosen and I want him to be good, but he won't be good now.
And Pete Carroll literally just announced 3 minutes ago that Doug Baldwin's going to play.
Oh, good, he's back. So I know you're happy. Finally,
Yeah,
they can finally have a decent offense.
So I expect this game to go in a similar fashion to how the Cowboys game went, honestly.
Yeah.
I expect Seattle to get out to an early lead and then just kind of hold that lead through the end of the game. Maybe put up another touchdown or two after the half, and then just kind of, I know it's kind of shitty to say, but just kind of coast this game.
Oh yeah. See, and here's the issue is, who's the major weapon on Arizona besides David Johnson and Fitzgerald? I mean, Fitzgerald's not fast and can't.
I mean, we don't know that Rosen is a weapon yet.
Yeah, exactly. Who's on give him the ball is number one. David Johnson has been a big disappointment this year. I'm going Seattle.
So we got another sweep potentially, because mine's a toss-up. I'm still waiting for the answers on if AJ starts. But if he does, that's 5 sweeps we got, with the only difference because Chicken changed his pick to the Vikings at the last minute.
Yeah, I had to. I may actually switch to Atlanta just to be contrarian.
Yeah, there it is. So I guess Chicken's become the contrarian.
Okay.
All right, so
all
we still
good.
got 4 sweeps, unless you want to change every other game, Chicken.
No, the other games are surefire.
Because you
super lock.
like, don't you want to get the most correct?
The whole point is to get the most correct, obviously, and I'm going to win.
We'll see. Anyway, that'll do it for this week, for week 4. Do you two have anything else you'd like to add?
Have a fun week 4 there, guys. Hope it's a fun week 4 for you all.
Honestly, these 3 weeks have been about as exciting of football, really, as you could ask for.
Not for me.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
At least not for my team. I'm ready to...
Listen, I'm talking from a football perspective, not from a personal team perspective.
Yeah.
It's been fun football.
Hell yeah.
Hey, maybe the Browns can win 2
Let's
straight.
not get crazy, but I hope
They're playing the Raiders. What do you mean let's not get crazy? They can... I know
if
they
the
can...
Browns beat the Raiders, does Reggie just like punch John Gruden in the throat?
Well, he should punch himself in the throat because he needs to question why he wanted him in the first place. Why did you want John Gruden? But either way, that'll do it for this.
Because he knows how to say spider 2-eye banana.
Ah.
Okay.
All right, so I guess that's it. So then we'll see you guys in week 5.